But let's go back to merit order incentives. Under dispatch by merit order, the periods of high prices compensate those high fixed cost generators through scarcity rents. And it's important to remember that if you limit how high the price can go during these high price periods, if you put some sort of limit on how high the price can go, then you're going to reduce the scarcity rents that those base load and those lower marginal cost resources earn. And if you limit the scarcity rents they earn, then you're reducing the incentive that GenCos have to build those resources. And so you may need to add some sort of capacity payment mechanism to make up for the inability of prices to go up as high as they need to during times of very high energy demand. One of the things that can prevent the scarcity price story from working is if all of or almost all of the power is under long-term power purchase agreements. If all power is under long-term take-or-pay contracts for a fixed price, then dispatch will be according to the levelized cost of energy rather than the marginal cost of energy. And we showed earlier how it's dispatch at marginal cost that keeps your costs as low as possible. If you dispatch according to levelized cost of energy, then your costs will be higher than if you dispatch according to marginal cost. So there's a cost to having all of your power under long-term power purchase agreements. Then power doesn't get dispatched according to marginal cost, but according to long-term, the levelized cost of energy, or the long-term marginal cost. So costs of generation are going to be higher, and curtailment is going to be more likely, because you won't have the price going high enough to draw in very costly, low capacity factor resources during periods of high demand. Another problem with having all your power under power purchase agreements is that there will be incentive to build too much base load and too little peaker, because a peaker plant is going to have a high levelized cost of energy and a very low capacity factor. And so you would tend, if you were always pricing according to long-term 30-year power purchase agreements, peakers would generally not be in the money. You would build more baseload power plants and use them less efficiently, rather than building fewer baseload power plants and then running peakers during periods of very high demand. Solar has an interesting additional problem because of its daily pattern. Because solar is something that's only available during the middle of the day when the sun shines, even if solar has a very low levelized cost of energy, high solar penetration can lower the prices that solar earns when it's available, since it's mostly available only during one period, a certain time of the day. The more solar is used, the lower the marginal cost of energy will be when the solar resource is readily available. And this is often called the duck curve when in thinking about the problem of integrating solar resources into the grid. So the very fact that solar is available a lot during daytime hours and not during other hours can result in too little scarcity rents being paid to the solar resource itself or to other baseload resources. And you can think about this in the extreme. If solar happened to be the marginal price-setting generator, then the price of electricity would be zero and no one would earn any rents at all on the power. And so solar, the increasing penetration of solar into the grid has its own special management problems, and these can be, as we'll see in a little while, these problems can be reduced by thinking about dispatch across wider areas. So we include resources that aren't highly correlated with the solar resource, and there won't be as much of a problem integrating the solar resources into the grid. All right. So just the first set of conclusions, and this really is review of material we've covered in earlier modules. Dispatch by merit order results in the lowest cost power generated and provides incentives for the right mix of generators. We spent a lot of time talking about this in earlier units. Using long-term fixed price contracts for most dispatch can raise costs and may overemphasize big baseload plants relative to a mix of resources, including very low capacity factor peaker units that have a high levelized cost of energy, but an extremely high value during the short periods during the year when they're needed.